Oh my god. Make a clip of that?
No shit.
Right there, smoothly in down the back straightaway. 3 car lengths separating. Big send on the inside. Kyle Terzak up the racetrack. Contact between the two, and it's going to be Braxton DeWeese winning here at Nashville. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. We are live here from the Indianapolis Raceway Park, ready to bring you guys race number 3 for the Leave the Pack Super Series. These guys have finished their qualifying efforts, and we are getting set and ready to go for 75 laps of action here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. One of my personal favorite tracks. I've seen super late models here many, many times in real life with the CRA Super Series, so this is going to be a little bit of a familiar experience for me. We've got about 3 minutes left here in qualifying. We've had 3 races so far this season. Two different winners. Week 1 at Week 1 at Kern County, rather. We saw Carter Russo go to victory lane. And then the most recent race a couple weeks ago, we saw Brian Gravel go to victory lane. And our fast qualifier here tonight, you can see up on the left side of your screen, is Mark Keteman. He was the fast qualifier at Kern County a couple weeks ago. He's had some tough luck so far this season. We'll see if he can turn things around here tonight. And up into the broadcast booth, Mark Keteman, you got a copy.
10-4.
Alrighty, well, quick time here tonight at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. You were quick time at the season opener in Kern County. You were really quick at New Smyrna a couple weeks ago. Quick here tonight once again. What can you do to finally put that number 2 machine in victory lane?
Hopefully not get drove through by any one of these guys that are behind me. Seems every time we're out front, something happens and we get drove through, and that's the end of the race win right there. So hopefully I don't burn the tires off of it. Knock on wood. And I don't know. We're just gonna go for it. Hopefully everything goes our way, because man, the last 2 race weeks we've had of I think I should have won them things and I haven't. So it's been some pretty tough losses to swallow. So we're just going to go after it and hope everything plays out in our favor.
Yeah, definitely some tough luck this season. Like you mentioned, you were leading at New Smyrna last time we raced, ended up finishing in that 6th spot. You were leading at Kern County, ended up finishing 2nd there. You still come into tonight with the points lead due to bonus points, which we talked yesterday. You were very thankful for those bonus points. That gives you the lead. 10 qualifying points here tonight. That's going to probably boost that lead. You got 75 laps. You mentioned saving the tires. We talked a little bit about the setup during the practice session. What's it going to take to keep the tires under that race car?
It's going to be, you're just going to have to be easy on them. It's only got about 1 or 2 good laps in it. And then after that, it kind of just falls off a cliff. So we're just going to probably have to baby them for a while and hope that they're good enough if we get a late caution or something at the end to fend everybody off.
Yeah, passing here at IRP, very, very tough. We saw the street stock race earlier on. You were down in the chat below, so you got to witness that firsthand, kind of get a little bit of experience on what the passing is going to be like. Obviously, the super late model, a little bit different. I think, personally, a little bit harder to pass in the super. So that's going to be a big key for you here tonight. Starting from the pole, going to have to keep those guys back behind you like you mentioned. But 4 minutes left here in your warm-up session. I'll let you get out on track and get those final setup adjustments done and everything you need to do before this 75-lap main event. But we wish you luck here tonight, Mark.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hopefully we're talking to you again in victory lane after 75 laps.
Yes, sir. Hopefully you can break through that wind barrier here in the Supers.
I sure hope so.
Alrighty, well, good luck to you, Mark.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was Mark Keteman. We'll go ahead and get our final qualifying results up on your screen. See the 2 machine at the top spot. Brady Cox second, Ryan Dunkelberger third, Chris Smith fourth, your street stock winner here tonight. Brandon Elvis in the 5th spot. Caleb Thompson 6th. Zach Murphy 7th. Carter Russo 8th. James Pileski 9th. Lewis Flowers 10th. Jeremiah Woods Jr. 11th. Zane Bierman 12th. And John Piet, Wade Enyart going to round out our field. No invert here in the Super Division, so that is how they will roll off. So we've got about 5 minutes left here. Or, sorry, 2 minutes left in the warm-up session. We'll see if we can't grab a word from somebody else in Discord. See their thoughts and opinions about tonight's race. See if we can't talk to Caleb Thompson in the 04 machine. Caleb Thompson up in the booth, you got a copy.
I got you, Winston.
Alrighty, you're going to be starting from the 6th spot here tonight. We got 75 laps at IRP. What are some of your big keys to tonight's 75 lapper?
I just got to be consistent. I think that's the key here. So just take advantage of people's mistakes, really.
Yes, that is going to be a big key. These cars are a little bit tough to drive at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Obviously, a lot of power underneath of you, and the setup is not the best, we'll admit. Does not help quite a bit, but coming into this evening, you are 7th in points, right behind your buddy Zach Murphy. What can you do to have a good points night here tonight? Qualified 6th, so that's going to get you a little bit of qualifying points. But what can you do to try and maximize your points tonight?
Yeah, I think starting here on the outside is going to help a lot, and just try to keep position, really, not fight too hard, and keep the tires not burning hot. I know in practice there I got them hot a few times and made a huge difference, so yeah, I got to be careful off the corner, not to slide it, and just bring her home.
Yeah, you mentioned the tires right there, and I like what you said about not overheating them. A lot of times it's not really about pushing that car, it's really just about not getting loose, and especially that right rear tire out back. You get loose too many times up off the corner, it tends to slide around a lot more the next time you do it. But
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
like you've got things figured out here tonight, Caleb, and you're going to be starting from the 6th spot, so hopefully you can have a good run here tonight. Maybe we'll be talking to you later on.
That sounds good.
Alrighty, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was Caleb Thompson in the 04 machine. Going to be rolling off from the 6th spot. We've got about 40 seconds left here in tonight's warm-up session. Everybody getting those final adjustments in. These guys are on a fixed setup, like I mentioned. Not too many things you can do, but you are allowed to change steering ratio, offset, and your brake bias, which actually tends to play a pretty big role in these super late model events. Not as much as maybe other divisions, but these super late models definitely rely on the brake bias changes throughout the race. Luckily, you are able to change it while you're in the seat. So a lot of guys, I'm sure, going to be taking advantage of that tool, but the checkered flag flies on the warm-up session. You see Zach Murphy shut that 29 machine down, and everybody jumps off the track, and we will jump onto the grid. We'll get our starting lineup on the screen. As I mentioned, starting from the pole, your fast qualifier here tonight, the Urbandale, Iowa driver, Mark Keedeman, going to roll off from the top spot. To his outside in the number 76 machine, this driver calls Ontario, Canada home. That's Brady Cox. Rolling off from the 3rd position here tonight in the 26 machine, he calls Simi Valley, California home. This is Ryan Dunkelberger. To his outside in the 4th spot, driver of the number 80 machine, your winner in the street stock portion of tonight's events earlier on here this evening. The driver out of, if I could find the resource, there we go. The driver out of Greenville, South Carolina, Chris Smith, going to be rolling off from the 4th spot. Back behind him in the 54 machine, the original Season 1 champion of the Street Stock Showdown, Brandon Elvis, in the 54. He calls Myrtle Beach, South Carolina home. His outside, the guy we just got done talking to, starting from the 6th position, he calls Friendship, Maine home. This is Caleb Thompson. Back behind them in the 7th spot, the 29 machine. Finished second earlier on in the street stocks. He calls Oakland main home. That's Zach Murphy. Is outside in the 21 machine. He's got 1 victory so far this season. That came in the opening race at the Kern County Raceway Park. The Rogue Mount, North Carolina driver, that's Carter Russo. Back behind in the 93 machine. The driver out of Wisconsin, that's going to be James Pileski in the 9th spot. Starting 10th here tonight, the driver from Wauchula, Florida, Lewis Flowers. The Goshen, Indiana driver, the 222, Jeremiah Woods Jr. going to roll off 11th. Is outside. It will be the driver out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's Zane Bierman. And rounding out our field back behind them, John Piet from Wisconsin and Wade Enyart rounds out our field. Through turns 3 and 4, the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. It's going to move its way down pit road, and it is in the hands of Mark Keteman and Brady Cox. Through the restart zone, the green is up, the green is out. We are underway. Oh, a big stack up there on the start. Not sure what happened. Looked like the 80 machine of Chris Smith had a little bit trouble getting going there. And that big time stacks up the field. And oh, Ryan Dunkelberger to the inside, into the inside wall there. Not sure what happened there. The green flag going to stay out after a chaotic lap 1. Not sure what happened on the restart right there. But I think the 80 machine of Chris Smith might have had a little bit of trouble getting through the gears, but I think everybody is going to keep their position. As Mark Keteman gets a big lead out front off the initial jump. 2 laps in, Keteman has a almost 1 second advantage. Back behind, Brady Cox and Brandon Elvis battle for that 2nd spot. Cox up on the outside, Elvis down low. Here comes Zach Murphy trying to roll the bottom in the 29. As these guys battle, that just lets Mark Keteman get a little bit further ahead. Looks like Elvis able to get up in front of the 76 machine. Here comes Murphy back down to the bottom side. And everybody starting to single file out. Things starting to simmer down after that first restart. Still not sure what happened, though. Looked like the 80 machine of Chris Smith might have checked up a little bit, and everybody back behind got into the back bumper. Cannot believe we kept that green flag racing. There was cars shooting all sorts of different directions right there. We are 5 laps in of 75. Mark Keteman has a 1 second advantage over Brandon Elvis. Brady Cox looking back to the inside for the 2nd spot. 54 currently holding that position. Last time we raced here in the super late models, Brady Cox finished in the 3rd spot. Started 11th in that race, so he definitely drove his way forward. Has a lot of experience here in the super late model division on iRacing. He's going to try and work his way back into that 2nd spot, but it's still early on. Only 6 laps in out of our 75 scheduled. Battle back behind for the 6th position. Jeremiah Woods in the 222. Up on the top side, here comes Caleb Thompson on the bottom, trying to work forward. They've got James Pileski in the 93 back behind them. Everybody with a little bit of front end damage back behind Chris Smith. Those guys that started up on the outside lane had to check up in a hurry, and that definitely set a little bit of a gap between the field. We keep it clean and green. 8 laps in across the stripe. Pileski finished 3rd here earlier on tonight in the Street Stock Showdown division. Pileski this week has had 3 straight top 5 finishes. Has not finished outside of the top 5 at IRP. We'll see if he can get up to the top 5 here. As Brandon Elvis still holding on to that 2nd spot. Mark Keteman has a 1 second advantage still as they get across the stripe. Elvis up the racetrack there. Brady Cox trying everything he can to find a nose to the inside, but it is still very early on here. You don't want to push that car too hard, too early. Chris Smith in the 80 machine, your winner earlier on in the street stocks, currently sitting in the 5th spot, back behind Zach Murphy. Last time we raced supers, Smith finished in that 2nd spot to Brian Gravel. He was able to come home with a podium finish. We'll see if he can get up to the podium here tonight. James Pileski making a little bit of contact with Caleb Thompson. Oh, Thompson up the racetrack. Thompson up the racetrack there. He's going to lose a spot to Carter Russo. Russo to the bottom. Looks like he will get around. Alrighty, folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. Apologize about that. Had to get a quick sip of water. 13, now 14 laps in for Mark Keteman, who is opening up that gap just a little bit. The time's very consistent throughout the top 5. Actually, the quickest car that time around was the 29 machine of Zach Murphy, who's currently sitting in the 4th spot. Murphy in 4th. He's got Chris Smith back behind him. They ran similar lap times that last time around. But the lap's going to tick away quickly here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, especially with how spread out this field is getting. Not a lot of time to drive that car to the front. It's going to be go, go, go from the start, and back behind, Lewis Flowers to the inside of Jeremiah Woods Jr. Woods up into the wall. That's going to allow John Piette in the 5 to sneak by as well. Move Woods back to the 11th spot where he began this race. Piette up into the outside wall. Look back up front. Brandon Elvis currently still in that 2nd spot. He's got Brady Cox back behind him. And if you've noticed so far, a lot of people very sideways up off the corner. We've seen a couple drivers getting very loose up off. That's not going to be friendly to those tires that we've talked about so much so far. I'm sure we'll see a lot of comers and goers throughout this race. As I say that, here comes John Piette to the inside of the 62 machine of Lewis Flowers. Looks like Flowers able to keep that car in the right direction and drive it off of the top right there. Piette going to look back to the bottom. Flowers up the racetrack a little bit there, but that outside lane is so strong up off the corner. You see the run that the 62 is able to get. Even opens up a little bit of a gap there. And oh, contact! The 62 machine got a shot in the left rear right there from John Piette. Luckily, he was able to save that race car. The green flag will stay out, but there was definitely contact in turns 1 and 2. Flowers did a good job hanging onto that race car. He'll be moved back to the 12th spot for right now. Jeremiah Woods Jr. underneath. 55 of Zane Bierman. Mark Keteman, your race leader, about 1.3 seconds the advantage out of turns 1 and 2. And this is what he talked about in our pre-race interview. Just take care of the race car at all costs. Just keep the tires underneath of it. As we look back at this battle out in the back half of the top 10, Lewis Flowers to the inside of Zane Bierman. Took a big lunge there. Had to get onto the binders, and oh, contact! Around goes the 55. He'll lock it down. I think we might stay in the right direction. Flowers going to back that car up, and the caution flag does come out there. Lewis Flowers in the 62 machine went around on the exit of turns 3 and 4. You see the 62 machine drive to the bottom side of the racetrack. I think there was just a disagreement on space there between the two. Bierman able to get that car back rolling. Flowers had to back it up on the front straightaway. He'll lose a couple positions there. But the caution flag is out for the first time here tonight We're going to take a quick step away while we're under the yellow flag, and we'll be right back. When we come back, green flag racing here on the WD Broadcasting Network. I'm your host, Winston Deal. Alrighty, folks, we are back. Green flag here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Mark Kiedemann takes the top spot down into turns 1 and 2. He'll have a 2-car length advantage over Brandon Elvis down the back straightaway. Here comes Brady Cox to the inside of Zach Murphy. Ooh, a little bit of contact there maybe. Up the racetrack they go. Cox trying to hang on to that 3rd spot. Looks like he will off the center of the corner. Back behind them, Chris Smith settles into the 6th position. James Pileski up to the 5th spot there in the 93. Back behind for 7th, Carter Russo to the inside of Caleb Thompson. Those two battled, a little bit of door banging there potentially through the center of the corner. Nearly clear, just about contact right there off the corner. As we look up in front, Zach Murphy taking a peek to the inside once again underneath Brady Cox. Murphy in that 29 machine has been lights out here tonight, or so far this week. 3 podium finishes so far, 2 second-place finishes at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. He's knocking on the door of victory lane. We'll see if he can get the job done. We're just shy of the halfway mark, about 7 laps until the cross flags. As we stay green here, Brandon Elvis in the 2nd spot under pressure from Brady Cox. We saw the field get a little bit spread out there on that initial start. The same cannot be said right here. Mark Kiedemann had a big advantage going into turns 1 and 2. That first start. Brady Cox in the 76 right there in the 3rd spot. Will go on board with the 76 machine. A lot of wheel in the center, or a lot of wheel in that car in the center of the corner. You can really see him having to work that race car to get it to rotate. We talked about how tight the setup was with Mark Kiedemann and what it was going to be like late in the race. You can see he's really chasing that wheel kind of free up off the corner. That's the downside. And oh, Zach Murphy in the 29 machine. Not sure what happened there, But Murphy in the 29 looked like had some trouble there. We'll see what happened. So we're going down into turns 1 and 2. Looks like the 29 spun across the nose of the 93. We'll have to get another look at that to see what exactly happened. But under caution for the second time here tonight. We'll go from behind the 93. Yeah, not sure what happened there. It looked like just a little bit of contact. Try and get one more view from our friends up in the chopper. Looked like the 93 definitely got into the left rear of the 29 right there, a little bit early into the corner. The caution flag flies for the second time here tonight. Under caution for the second time here tonight. We will see the halfway mark this time around. Keedeman out front in the number 2 machine, trying to pick up his first victory this season. So far, he has had 2 races where he essentially dominated here in the Leave the Pack Super Series. Just has not been able to get the results to show for it. He's got 1 top 5 finish, 2 top 10 finishes so far this season. Last time we raced, he finished in the 6th spot at New Smyrna, 2nd at Kern County, and points leader. In both of those races, he led the most laps, but did not come home with the victory. So we'll see if the 2 machine of Keedeman can hang on tonight. Past halfway, we're going to be sending him back green with about 36 laps to go. It'll be Keedeman and Brandon Elvis through the restart zone. The green is up, the green is out. We're back underway. Into turns 1 and 2. Keedeman jumps out to the early advantage once again. Elvis into 2nd, Cox 3rd. Your top 3 remains the same. Here comes Carter Russo trying to work his way forward. Russo had a little bit of trouble in qualifying here tonight. Qualified back in the 8th position. He's working his way forward, trying to move back up inside of the top 5 where we're used to seeing that 21 machine. Russo won the first race of the season at the Kern County Raceway Park. Now he's battling with Smith for that 5th spot. Sorry, 4th spot rather, up the racetrack a little bit there. Ooh, everybody's sideways. John Piet in the wall out back. He'll keep that race car in the right direction, but he'll definitely lose a lot of ground there. Looks like Russo able to get by the 80 of Smith. So move Carter Russo up into the 4th spot. Set his sights on Brady Cox for 3rd. And oh, Brady Cox in the 76 machine. Hard contact into the outside wall. That sends a couple cars shooting down the racetrack to avoid. He'll shoot back on the outside and oh, into the wall again for Cox. And he spins to the inside of the racetrack. I think we'll stay green. Big time trouble there for Brady Cox. Not sure what happened to that 76 machine. Not sure what happened there. Very big trouble there for Cox in the 76. I believe believe he might have disconnected from the session after that. Got into the wall 2 corners in a row. The car just too tough for the 76 of Brady Cox, who will call it a night. James Pileski in the 93 machine had to go to the back after that contact with Zach Murphy. Back up into the 7th spot, trying to work his way back forward. He's got a lot of speed this week, as we mentioned earlier on. Caleb Thompson into the outside wall. Man, that outside wall is really becoming a weapon here tonight, honestly, more than anything else so far in this race. We've seen a lot of drivers scrape that outside wall and just lose all speed. It's similar to what we see at Nashville Fairgrounds sometimes. You get up under the wall and it just glues you to the wall, nothing you can do. It's been a tough track to tame so far here this evening. We are 46 laps into this one when we get back around. Battle still for the 3rd spot on track. Kurt Russo was able to sneak by Chris Smith and Brady Cox after Cox got up under the outside wall again. We saw Smith shoot down to the bottom side of the racetrack, and there was a lot of chaos there in turns 1 and 2, but luckily we keep it in the right direction and going green. The biggest beneficiary out of that is probably Brandon Elvis in the 54. He was able to get a lot more breathing room than he's had all race long and really get comfortable with that car. He's starting to put in a little bit better lap times than Mark Keteman. We'll look when they come back across the line this time. But as you can see, that 54 was the fastest car on the racetrack. We're getting close to the end of this one. Only 49 laps in, but getting down to the wire here. Pileski in the 222 machine trying to work his way back up to the top 5. He gets around Jeremiah Woods Jr. there in the 222s. 93 of Pileski back up to the 6th spot. We'll set his sights back on Zach Murphy, who he had a little bit of trouble with earlier on. Work their way through turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. You see the lap times very close all throughout your top 4. Elvis the slightest bit quicker, only 100th of a second faster than your race leader. 25 laps to go at the line for Mark Keteman. 25 more times around. He's led the most laps so far here tonight. He's checked that box for the 3rd week in a row. Can he bring it home and get the job done here? Look back behind for 3rd, Chris Smith in the 80, the winner of the street stock race earlier on tonight. Ooh, up into the outside wall. He'll lose some ground in the 80 car. You see the wheel in that race car, a lot of turn for that 80 machine of Chris Smith. It's taken a lot for these guys to get that car rotated through the center of the corner. We've talked about the tight setup all night long. One of the keys here in the super late model is not to put too much wheel into it. It's like we've seen a couple times this race. If you put too much wheel into it, it either goes straight, or when you grab the gas, you see what Chris Smith just had to do right there. You got to steer it back to the right pretty quick because these cars tend to snap on corner exit when you have too much wheel. 22 to go this time for Mark Keteman. He's starting to get a little bit of pressure from Brandon Elvis. Elvis just 0.4 of a second back behind with 22 laps to go. So far this season, Brandon Elvis has finished 4th twice, 2 races in a row. He's finished in that 4th position, right now running in the 2nd spot. This would be his best run of the season if he can bring it home in that 2nd position. Look at the line that these 2 drivers are running. We'll watch down into turns 3 and 4. You see the 54 kind of driving a little bit harder. He's able to cut that car down off of the corner. Across the stripe that time, 0.2 of a second the difference, 20 to go for Mark Keteman. Brandon Elvis trying to work that car forward and gain as much ground as he can. The one thing Mark Keteman does not want to see is that caution flag and have to deal with a late race restart. The tires may be going to the favor of the 54 machine. We'll have to see, though. Obviously, 19 laps to go still. A long time left here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, but another big lunge there from Brandon Elvis. Car kind of shot up the racetrack a little bit, though. He's going to lose a little bit of ground down the backstretch. as these two continue to battle for that top spot. We look back behind. Jeremiah Woods on the back bumper of Zach Murphy. As Woods looks to the outside lane, Murphy down low. Woods going to try and cut that car back up across the bottom. Looks like Murphy's going to be able to hang on for now. We've got a battle out back. Zane Bierman and Lewis Flowers continuing to battle for the 10th spot. Bierman down low. Looks like Flowers will get the position up off the corner. These two battling very hard here with 17 to go. Look back on the battle between Jeremiah Woods and Zach Murphy. Murphy trying to make that inside lane work, but Woods able to get the momentum up off of the corner. We'll see if he can look to the outside once again. Ooh, scraped the wall there. Up into the wall again. And this time around, it'll be 15 laps to go for Mark Keteman. 15 to go this time for the number 2 machine. Trying to take the Darth Vader car, as he calls it, to victory lane. Elvis has fallen off a little bit there in the 54, 6/10 of a second now the difference. Keteman starting to open up that gap just a little bit. He was quicker last time. We'll see what he can do this time around when we come back to 14 to go. Nearly identical lap times, a 21:98 for Mark Keteman to Brandon Elvis is 21:97. Very close between those two, but Elvis just with a little bit of an advantage. But 7/10 of a second when they exit the corner right there. It's going to take a lot of hard work and a big charge from Brandon Elvis if he wants a shot at the win here tonight. We look back on the battle for third. Chris Smith starting to creep a little bit closer to Carter Russo in the 21 machine. But you see the difference in lines there. Russo just kind of letting that car roll through the center. Smith really charging the center, or the entry of the corner rather. So we have 12 to go here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Keteman opening up that lead to about 0.8 of a second now as he comes through turns 3 and 4. He's got a lap car in front of him. That is Wade Enyart in the 210 machine. Enyart on the tail end of the lead lap right now, but starting to fall into the clutches of our race leader. Enyart down to the bottom side, goes 1 lap down there. As we come back to 10 laps to go this time. 10 to go for Mark Keteman. That time by Brandon Elvis, nearly 2/10 quicker in the 54. Does he have anything left? And are we just beginning to see what that 54 has? As they work their way through turns 3 and 4, 9 to go this time for Mark Keteman. He's been in this spot before. He does not want to see that late race caution. As we look back, Chris Smith all over the back bumper of Carter Russo. Look back behind them. James Pileski, one of the faster cars on the racetrack here towards the end of this race. Running a little bit quicker than the 2 cars in front of him. We'll see if he's able to get to Chris Smith and Carter Russo and make this a 3-car battle for that final spot on the podium. Back behind, Jeremiah Woods is able to get around Zach Murphy, and ooh, Murphy up into the wall right there. Both of those drivers might have overshot the corner just a little bit. Luckily, Woods was able to keep that car out of the wall. Murphy kind of scraped it with the right side a little bit. As we watch this battle for third, Smith all over the back bumper. Go on board with James Pileski in the 93 machine and watch this from his perspective. You see the wheel that he's got in this race car as well. Very tough to turn these cars at the later stage of this race. But Pileski definitely looks a little bit quicker than the 2 cars in front of him. But can he pass? We've got 6 laps to go. As Mark Keteman, your race leader, works his way out of turns 3 and 4. He'll come to 10 laps to go. Or sorry, 5 laps to go rather. 5 to go for Mark Keteman. So he's got a 7/10 of an advantage over Brandon Elvis. Elvis trying to hang on to that race car. The handling may have gone away on that 54. I heard him come over voice chat and say, Mark, that's all I got. So we'll see if that 54 can hang on to a second place finish here. As Pileski looks to the inside of Smith to challenge for the 4th spot. We've got 4 to go here at IRP. 4 more circuits here in the Lead the Pack Super Series race number 3. As Pileski down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. He'll try to cut that car underneath the 80 of Chris Smith. These two battled. Ooh, contact there. Smith up into the outside wall. That is going to allow James Pileski to sneak by. Pileski sneaks by in the 93. That will move him up into the 4th position, but up front, 2 laps to go for Mark Keteman. Popsicle sticks up in the air that time. 2 more times around for your points leader, Mark Keteman, trying to extend that lead into turns 3 and 4. He's got just half a quarter to go. No caution flag. The white flag will come out one more time around for Mark Keteman. 3 races in a row. He has led the most laps. The first 2 races of the season, he was not able to finish the job and get that victory, or to go to victory lane. Into turns 3 and 4. He set fast time here tonight. He's going to lead all 75 laps. And we are going to see Mark Keteman pick up his first victory of the season in the Leave the Pack Super Series. Mark Keteman picking up the victory. Brandon Elvis comes home 2nd. Carter Russo comes home 3rd. James Pileski, an impressive 4th place finish right there after getting sent to the back. Chris Smith comes home in the 5th spot. Jeremiah Woods 6th. Zach Murphy 7th. Caleb Thompson 8th. John Piet 9th. And Zane Bierman comes home in the 5th spot, or 10th spot. But Mark Keteman going to burn it down on the front straightaway, picking up his first victory of the season. He's had a tough going so far. The luck has not gone his way, but he's going to burn it down here and celebrate his first victory. And he'll park it right front and center for us. The checkered flag is out. Keteman, your winner. We're going to take a quick step away here on the WD Broadcasting Network. We'll come back with a word from our top 3 finishers when we return.
think I watched Josh 3 or 4 times before I ran the car. He killed them every race, and it was like stout fields, like good cars, big races, and I mean, he was unbeatable. And I was like, oh man, this is, like, I'm nervous. I was so nervous getting into the car full time this year after watching Josh win 3 or 4 races straight. These cars, they have a lot of horsepower now. They have over 500, and I think 5 years ago they didn't have 450. They're gonna be a handful to drive, but just don't overdrive them. Let the car do the work.
We are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. We're going to grab a word from our top 3 finishers before we wrap things up here tonight at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Up into the broadcast booth, our 3rd place finisher here tonight, started 8th. Carter Russo, you got a copy.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, new pedals for you here tonight. I just want to bring that to attention. New pedals, you talked about that earlier on. Qualified in the 8th spot, came home in the 3rd spot, moved forward, which is honestly pretty good to say at IRP because this track is notoriously tough to pass. How do you feel?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely got new pedals, something totally different. Trying to get the bugs worked out of that. I didn't even think I was gonna be here tonight. So, yeah, on the initial start, man, we all kind of got bottlenecked up, and I drew myself in the wall. James monster trucked me. It was all kind of a clusterfuck, and I was like, oh god, here we go. So, man, I just bided my time. Just waited and burnt my stuff up. That's all I could say. I just avoided the wrecks and burnt my stuff up and somehow managed to be here.
Yeah, the key going into tonight, we talked to a couple different drivers before the race. The key was keep the tires underneath that race car. Luckily, you were able to do it well enough to get onto the podium. And coming from the 8th spot, moving up 5 positions, it's looked like you had some tire left there at the end. Better tires than others, I'll put it that way. There was a lot of guys sliding around there at the end of the race. That 21 machine looked like it was in a straight line most of the time, so definitely a good run for you. Who do you have to thank for another podium finish here in the Leave the Pack Super Series?
Yeah, K-Car Race Cars, Mark Keatman, Biggs and Watson, Call Fire Department, you for putting this on and broadcasting it, my girlfriend. Yeah, just everybody that helps me out, man. It's, I know some people watching is like everybody helps them out, but it's kind of you can't be here without some of these people. I know Mark's really good. I was trying to learn from him. I hate this place. I really do. I just don't like. I like the idea of it. I just don't like how it works out though. So was trying to figure it out, and he was kind of talking to me in Discord while he was running and seeing what he was doing. I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't do it. My tires, I don't know. I just burned them off early on. Felt like I was riding, but I guess I won't. So, yeah, that's good for him. He got the win. I know it's kind of been a long beginning start to his season, trying to get that monkey off his back. So,
yeah, Mark definitely had a monkey to get off his back. He did that here tonight, but you had a pretty good run as well. Already have 1 victory on the season. You're 2nd in points. That's going to probably keep you 2nd in points here this evening. Next week, we head to the Langley Speedway, flat track. similar to this, but also not like this at all. How are you feeling going into Langley with a podium pushing you?
Yeah, I think I'll be decent there. I'm not a fan of these flat tracks. I just like tonight, gotta keep the right front on it, and I'll be good for about 20 laps there. I'll be better than I was here tonight, but still think I won't be as good contending for the win like other guys will be. Them flat tracks get me. I'd rather be burning off the right rear all day long than the right front. So I don't know. Maybe I'll surprise myself and we'll be up there fighting. So let's plan at least.
Yeah, you and I are the same car to these flat tracks, and burning up the right front is not fun. I would much rather burn up the right rear as well, and you and I are very well in the same boat on that one. But a lot of different tracks here on the schedule. We get some banking towards the latter half of the season, so hopefully you can make a pretty exciting charge there. But still a good run. Ended up in the 3rd spot. Congratulations to you once again, and we wish you luck going forward.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was your 3rd place finisher here tonight. Now to grab a word from our 2nd place finisher in the 54 machine driver, Brandon Elvis. Brandon Elvis up in the booth, you got a copy.
Hey, Winston.
Alrighty, we'll start it in the 5th spot here tonight. Worked your way up to 2nd pretty early there after that chaos that we saw in that initial start. That was pretty wild, but everybody was able to make it through, luckily, and we were able to have a pretty good race after that. 2nd spot here tonight. Looked like you were making a little bit of a charge there on Mark Keteman. Maybe just ran out of tire and laps there at the end.
Yeah, right there at the start, me and Chris just watched it. It looked like he hit the wall, but then I just slipped me right into him. I don't know. It's probably my fault on that. I apologize to him immensely. I don't even know why I really had no explanation. But other than that, we get the long runs. I think I was probably had a little bit better pace than Mark there, but he figured out my line that I was running and kind of took it away from me, and just anything I couldn't get past that bubble of, half a tenth to 7-8 tenths, because once I got within that bubble, the car would not rotate and turn like I really needed it to, and just needed that clean air on the nose. I hate blaming it on that, but that's what I felt when I would get back 8 or 9 tenths, and then I could start making another charge. But last 10, 15 laps, man, my tires were done. As I had given all I could give there.
Yeah, you definitely made a pretty good charge, but like you said, once you got to that 0.6 of a second range, it kind of started to fall off that's what I saw from the booth, at least. It started to fall off a little bit, and obviously when you get behind somebody, it is very hard to make that final charge and get right up on their back bumper, and then you got to deal with passing the guy, and IRP is a track that's notoriously tough to pass at. So
well, that's just it. If I could have got there, but there probably wasn't nothing I was going to be able to do once I did get there, because without moving them or wrecking them, that would have been the really only way I could have got around them.
Yeah, the IRP just very tough to pass at, and obviously Mark's had a pretty rough season so far. If you've kept up with this series and kept up with the broadcast, Mark has gotten the monkey off of his back here tonight, but I'm sure you're going to get that monkey off your back here soon. You've got a couple wins in other divisions, still waiting for that super late model breakthrough win, but we've got some tracks up here coming up soon, Langley, South Boston. How are you feeling about your going into those races with your best finish of the season?
Yeah, man. To kind of build on that, got to start racing up front against these guys. If I'm not in position, I can't race for a win, and I just got to continue to put myself in position for it, and maybe the cars will fall our way. Really got to work on my qualifying program. Got to find something there, because I've been off, and if you're having to make 4 or 5 passes, especially in these supers, by the time you do get to the front, man, it's just you're compounding stuff against yourself. You got to start up there and be up there the whole time.
Yeah, qualifying definitely a big deal, especially in the 2 late model divisions we have here. No invert, obviously, and where you qualify is ultimately where you start. But still a good run for the 54 machine here tonight. 2nd place, obviously your best run of the season, like I mentioned. Who do you have to thank for a podium finish here tonight?
Yeah, man. My wife for allowing me to do this. Very grateful for that. My mom, my dad, Coleman Design, Coastal Performance, Chestnut Hill Restaurant, Barrels Performance and Fab, WD Broadcasting Network, and you for putting this league on.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Brandon, on your second place run here tonight, and we wish you luck going forward here with the LTP Super Series.
Yeah, man. Thanks, and congrats to Mark on his win there. It's pretty good job on his end.
Yeah, he definitely put on heck of a show there up front. He had a lot more pace than I initially anticipated, especially keeping the tires on it too. I didn't think he could do both, but it looks like he did. But yeah. Once again, congratulations to you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was your second place finisher. Now to grab a word from the man of the hour. We talked to him earlier on when he got the pole for tonight's race. But finally, Mark, getting the monkey off of your back. How does it feel to win at IRP?
It's like a weight lifted off my shoulders, to be honest with you. I mean, Elvis gave me a run for my money there towards the end, but I noticed he was catching me every so often. I'd look up in the mirror and eventually just tried to start taking his line away. And then I seen he got in the wall a few times, but no, a great race by Brandon. He was probably faster than me for a little while. I probably used up the right front a little too much, just running that bottom lane there. But thank God I finally won one. My Lord, we're gonna extend on the points lead by a good chunk. So, I mean, we haven't finished any worse than sixth in the first three races, but it's still a long season to go. So. I'm excited to finally get one. I mean, I know the car count was kind of down, but a win's a win by any means.
Yeah, a win is definitely a win. And you started up front. You led all 75 laps here tonight. That two machine definitely had the speed. I think even if we had the 24 car field, you might have had the field cover. But nonetheless, great run for you here tonight. Next week, I know what you're going to say because I've seen a couple Mid-South races at this racetrack. But next week we head to the Langley Speedway. How are you feeling heading there?
Well, as you said, we've dominated in Mid-South there at Langley. So we've got quite a few wins and quite a few laps around Langley and a super late. So I think we'll be okay. It's been a while since I've ran around there, but you know, you never forget how to get around a racetrack once you've been there a couple times, and especially one there a couple times. So the next couple races on the schedule, I'm really excited to look for. Two main races I'm not looking forward to are Stafford and Oswego. So I don't have a lot of laps around Stafford. Oswego, that's just a tough place, man, especially in these late models. They kind of just bounce off the racetrack a lot. So I don't know. It's gonna be a good season, I feel like. So I'm just, like I said, excited to finally get this win off my back. It's been 2 weeks in the making. You know, we've led the most laps and still didn't come away with a win the first 2 weeks. So finally able to put one together, lead all the laps, and get that win and the pole. So points lead is going to look probably pretty nice after this race.
Yeah, we talked earlier on before this race about the bonus points and what that did for you coming into tonight. Well, I'm pretty sure you grabbed every single bonus point here this evening. So that's definitely going to work a lot of magic for you here tonight. Obviously, the win helps with the points as well. I mean, obviously, you win, you're going to get a lot of points, but those bonus points rack up pretty quickly, and especially because you got a lot of them here tonight. Did a wonderful job, set the fastest lap, most laps led a lap. Every bonus point that you could have got, you did. Got the maximum amount of points here tonight at IRP, got the victory. Who do you have to thank for such a great run here tonight?
Before that, I just want to say, like, this is why I like this league, is because of the bonus points. It's kind of like the old NASCAR series, right? The Cup Series. You know, you get the fast cars get rewarded for being fast, right? So it kind of pushes the other drivers to be better and strive to, be fast. And, they get rewarded for that, which is how I like it, right? But I got to thank you for putting this on. RKM Setup Shop, K Cars Race Cars, MK Performance, Clive Power Equipment, Topsoil Landscapes, Justin Brooks Designs for this badass race car we got out here. Friesen Performance, all my friends and family that watch these broadcasts that you put up for us. So I got to thank everybody.
Yeah, definitely a great run for you here tonight. I like what you said right there about the bonus points. It does push drivers to get better, and rewarding the fast guys extra bonus points for being fast. It will collectively force everybody to get better over time, and I'm really excited. We're only 3 weeks into the season. I'm really excited to see what we can do and what kind of races we can put on later in the year. You mentioned Oswego. That's been a bit of a talking point here the past couple days. That racetrack specifically. It's relatively new here on iRacing. Have you done a super race at it?
I did. I did a couple super races. During that week 13 when it first came out. It's definitely very, very line dependent. There is no really top lane. So if you get rooted up off the bottom or you miss your line by just a little bit and you got somebody behind you, they are definitely pouncing and going to make a move on you. And it's going to be tough to fend that off for sure. And it's bumpy, it's rough, it's old. That's definitely a driver's track for sure. So if people are going to have to be on top of their game to make it around there clean and have a shot to win that race.
Yeah, it definitely checks all the boxes of being a driver's track, like you said. It's going to be a fun one. I'm actually looking forward to that one. I know there's a lot of people in the Discord that maybe aren't looking forward to it, but I think it's going to be a fun one. I have a lot of confidence that we can put on a fun race there. But nonetheless, one more time, congratulations to you, Mark, on your victory here tonight at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. It was a long time coming the past month, because of the 2-week break. We've been waiting for that 2 machine to break through, and finally you did it here tonight. So congratulations to you once again, and we wish you luck going forward.
Thank you, Winston. Have a good night.
Yep, you too. Alrighty, folks, that was your winner here tonight at the Indianapolis Raceway Park in the LTP Super Series division, Mark Keteman in the number 2 machine. We'll put up our final finishing results one more time, and you guys can see where your driver finished. Mark Keteman, your winner, obviously, like we mentioned. Brandon Elvis, second. Carter Russo, third. James Pileski had a nice run in the 93. Was able to work his way back from the rear after that contact with Zach Murphy. Chris Smith comes home 5th. Jeremiah Woods Jr. in the 6th spot. Zach Murphy 7th. Caleb Thompson 8th. John Piet 9th. Zane Bierman 10th. Lewis Flowers 11th. Wade Enyart 12th. Brady Cox 13th. And Ryan Dunkelberger rounds out your field in the 26. But a fun race here tonight. A lot of green flag laps, a lot of good runs, and some pretty exciting moments for as spread out as the field was. There was a lot of chaos every time somebody got into that outside wall, but still a fun race here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, and I thank everybody who tuned in to this point. But we will be back next week for week 4 of the Leave the Pack iRacing League. The schedules will be posted on Facebook. If you don't already, follow Leave the Pack on Facebook. Also follow the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook. Post there pretty much every day. Trying to be more consistent about that, but nonetheless, one more time, thank you guys for watching. I am your host, Winston Deal from the WD Broadcasting Network, signing it off from IRP. Peace.